Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 64 of our BU 365-day challenge to do one thing every day that improves us in some way. Well, today I peeked at my calendar as I was getting ready to do my videos and realized that I picked the topic for the wrong day yesterday as I was preparing. So I prepared for NLP today, but it's not supposed to be till the 12th. Well, obviously the universe wants us to talk about neuro-linguistic programming today, so that's what we're going to do. So what the heck is NLP? You may have heard of it. I will preface this by saying I am not a trained or certified NLP practitioner. I have never gone out of my way to, I've read a few books about it, and I've read about different of the practices that make up NLP, but I'm not a conscious practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming. Although I do have and believe some of the core beliefs that go along with and foundational practices that are part of neuro-linguistic programming. Well, what the heck is neuro-linguistic programming? Let's grab a magnifying glass and look at the definition according to the internet. I'm not going to say it's according to a dictionary or anything, because this is definitely an internet definition. It's a pseudoscience, according to the internet. It's been proven to not be a real science, as if like there's a distinction. I would say everything around COVID has been a pseudoscience, right? So scientific approach to communication, personal development, and psychotherapy. It was created by Richard Bandler and John Grinder in California in the 1970s. So it's been around my whole teenage and adult life. It was created in the decade that I was a teenager. I would say our most famous practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming is Tony Robbins. If you haven't heard of Tony Robbins, I gotta believe you might be living under a rock somewhere. I mean, he's got a documentary. He's a billionaire. He's done all kinds of things. He's written, I don't even know how many books he's written, but I've read several of them. Awaken the Giant Within was probably my favorite of his books. Master the Game. He's got all kinds of, he's got courses and programs, and you can go to his events. He owns an island and all these cool things. I've been following Tony Robbins since the 70s when he got started. So I am a Tony Robbins fan, been to several of his trainings. I've seen him multiple times as part of other events and conferences. So I actually love the things that he does and uses. I haven't really consciously tried them, but I've tried to incorporate some of the beliefs and some of the practices into who I am. The ones that fit with me, I use. The ones that don't, I don't use. And that's true of everything that we learn. We try things on, and if they feel good to us, we use them and we make them our own. If they don't, we just let them go. Kind of like we want to do with our feelings and our thoughts and our emotions and our beliefs. So what the heck is it, and how do we use, what are the 5 main techniques of neuro-linguistic programming? And then what are the pillars of neuro-linguistic programming? That's all I'm going to talk about is a quick overview today. And then our action item is, I'm just going to ask you to notice as you go about your day, do you see examples of neuro-linguistic programming being used by other people, being used in marketing and commercials? Do you see other people using them on you? Or do you practice neuro-linguistic programming? And then just share one example that you noticed today as you go about your day. So what are the 4 pillars of neuro-linguistic programming? Well, you or I, we are the center of neuro-linguistic programming, right? We are the most important component. And our sensory acuity and how sensitive we are to different things and how we respond and define things is, of course, I think the most important part of anything, but neuro-linguistic programming as well. It's our goals, our beliefs, our it says conveyances. I don't know why I wrote that down. Our values, if they're all aligned and how well they're aligned, will determine how successful we are in our lives, as well as with techniques and tools and strategies like NLP. The second one is rapport. How are we with respect to relationships? It deals with different aspects of relationships. The third is outcome or results orientation, meaning we are going to do something and then make sure that we're noticing the results of that. And what works, we'll do more of. What doesn't work, we'll let go of. And then flexibility in terms of our behavior. We flex and change our behavior based on what's required for the situation. I totally love this one because I believe that we have to all be flexible and open to different possibilities all the time. And what works in one situation isn't going to necessarily work in another situation, especially where people are involved. So those are the 4 pillars of NLP. So you, in your sensory acuity, rapport, why do I say rapport, and your relationships and your ability to form relationships and engage with other people, outcome orientation, are you paying attention to the results? And then behavior flexibility, being willing to change your behavior and help other people change their behavior based on what's required for the situation. Now, the top 5 NLP techniques, and I'm sure you've heard of some of these or experienced them, are imagery training, which includes visualization, which we've talked about, mental rehearsal, practicing, future pacing, imagining something in your mind, how you want it to be, right? Before you actually have the physical experience. The NLP swish, which is just a practice of switching out and swishing out. It's kind of tied into visualization. And I'll look into this more because I'm not super familiar with what it is. I know Tony Robbins uses it a lot, and I've experienced it and done it on myself, but I've never taught other people how to do it. I consider it like flip switching would be my equivalent in my life and how I use the NLP swish. Modeling is when we look for somebody that's doing or achieved something that we want to achieve, and we model their thinking, their beliefs, their behavior, their actions to speed up our process of getting the same result in our life. The whole hacking industry, funnel hacking, biohacking, vision hacking, ad hacking, design hacking, anything that's a hack or a shortcut is just modeling someone else's behavior. If you have a coach in a certain area or aspect of your life, or you know someone who has, you're following their frameworks are all models, right? If you're using any frameworks in your life and from anywhere, that's an example of modeling. The next one is mirroring. And mirroring is when we match the pace of people's speech. We match their tone, their volume. We match and mirror what they're doing. If they're crossing their arms, we cross their arms. If they're pointing at their head, we slowly mirror and point at our head. If they're all excited and high energy, we match their pace of energy, etc. So mirroring is basically matching people's behavior or copying their behavior. Now, the thing about mirroring, it has to be natural and subtle. If you're purposefully, and this is why I don't use some of these, is if people catch you doing these things to them intentionally without sincerity, they will not trust you. It totally has the opposite effect that we want if people catch you doing it. So if you're mirroring, if you're in a job interview and you're mirroring the interviewer too much, they're not going to trust you and you're not going to get the job. It has the exact opposite effect of if you're sincerely doing it. Now, if you're sincerely building up rapport and having a good conversation, and then you find yourself automatically mirroring what they do, that is human nature. And then the last technique is incantations. And incantations to me is another word for affirmations or afformations, and we'll talk about those actually as part of the SOAP framework. I think afformations, I could be wrong, but I think it's the one I use for mental, or a tool that we'll use. And if I don't normally, I will bring it in and we'll apply it to our mental well-being, our mental health. So again, your sensory acuity, rapport, your interaction with other people, and how easily you do or do not build rapport with other human beings or interact with other human beings. Results orientation, what's working, do what's working, stop doing what's not working. And sometimes we need pattern interrupts. I'm surprised. I wonder where pattern interrupts would fall, because I always think of Tony Robbins and pattern interrupts and outrageous behavior, and triggers and things. And those, I'm sure, are part of NLP, but I'm not sure exactly where they fit in. It doesn't matter. We'll talk about all those things throughout this challenge as well. So today, just be aware as you're going about your normal activities today. It's a Saturday in my neck of the woods. So as I go about my activities, they're different than they are Monday through Friday. So I'll be looking for, I don't know that we'll see the NLP switch. That swish, that's kind of the thing we do on ourselves. But I guarantee I will hear some imagery and somewhere. I'll see some modeling. I'll see some mirroring. And I do incantations. I don't call them incantations. I call them affirmations. I do them every day, so I'm definitely familiar. I do them every day, so I'm definitely familiar with that. So just share one thing that you noticed today, and tomorrow we'll get back on track with our calendar. We will be talking about the conscious mind. Okay? Sorry about messing up our schedule. Not that it matters. I made it up as we go anyway. So I guess obviously NLP was something that we want to just plant the seed of right now in the challenge so that we can start looking for it and using it and picking and choosing the parts of that tool that work for us to help us improve a little bit every single day. If we just did one little thing a day, if we just future paced our life once a day, or paid more attention to our outcomes, what's working and what's not working, or worked on building relationships and improving our communication skills with other people, or using our sensory acuity and tapping into and really paying attention to what am I feeling? What am I experiencing? Is this working for me or not? All right, have an awesome day. Any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow.